Hello, I'm Jen, and as you may well know, I work for Beauty from Ashes, which is a ministry for inner healing. And perhaps you're wondering, what on earth is inner healing? Sounds a bit spooky to me. Well, I can best describe it this way, I think. Supposing a girl, when she's in her early teens, has a terrible car accident, and she's desperately badly wounded, particularly around the face. And actually, she will carry those scars for the rest of her life. And those very scars will hold her back from all kinds of things that she so much wanted to do. I mean, things like becoming an air hostess, or a model, or a film star. And if they're really bad scars, it may even hold her back from getting married and having babies. It's hard for her. But a strange thing is that when things happen to us, really awful things happen to us when we're children, they also leave scars. But we can't see them. They're invisible scars. Say, for instance, a child is sexually abused by her best friend's father, or the dad that she absolutely adores and worships walks out on her when she's about 9 and she's left with her mum she doesn't get on with at all. And what about the baby that is brought up by a mum who's mentally ill and never smiles at her, never cuddles her, never says she's loved or encourages her when buys her a party dress and tells her how beautiful she is? Those kind of things produce scars because they're wounds, but the scars that none of us see. And that's how it's been for me, to be honest. I was very badly scarred by a terribly cruel teacher. I think she was cruel because she hated my parents and she jolly well took it out on me. She kept on saying over and over again, "You are so stupid." And then she told my mother, "She's educationally subnormal." And my mum took up on that and believed her. So I grew up terrified of her. I was in her class for 3 years. In the end, I ran away and I developed a school phobia. So I never really went to school again. So I never took any exams. And when I got to be 18, I thought, well, I can't go and do any job, can't go to university without any exams behind me. I don't know what I can do. And anyway, I had no confidence. The problem was that I had covered all that embarrassment, really, about being such a stupid fool by eating, binge eating. So I was hugely overweight. And so I had no boyfriends. It was a wonder, really, that I ever got married at all. But I could look after children and I loved that. So we had 6. But still I had no confidence. And still I couldn't make out a check in case I couldn't write the words because I have dyslexia too. But my teacher never heard of dyslexia. So because of all those scars when I was a child, I was held back from everything. And I had all kinds of different fears and phobias. But miraculously, I have managed to write 40 books and I run a ministry, a charity. And that miracle could only have happened because of inner healing. And that for me happened mostly by prayer, that people prayed for me, a mixture of counseling and prayer ministry. And of course, it took quite a long time. I don't think inner healing happens all in one moment. It is a process that you go through, but it's a process that's enormously accelerated by prayer. First, for me, I remember realizing at a very low stage in my life, when my children were small, that actually I had some sort of secret place inside me where I hid all the unfortunate things I didn't want to feel. I didn't want to feel resentful I didn't want to feel fearful. I didn't want to feel all those negative things that would go round and round in our heads. So I would hide them away in this secret box or cupboard inside me. And they would go round and round in there, but I could forget them. I could slam the door on them and they would be done. Now, when I realized that I had that problem, the first step of my inner healing was saying to the Lord, please, I'm going to open the door of this horrid little secret cupboard and ask you to come right into the middle of all those fears and guilt and all the muck in there. And I do believe he did, because he began to give me so much more confidence, so much more peace. In fact, that was when I began to write books. But I still had other things I needed to do. I had a series of counselling, ordinary, straightforward counselling. That was extremely helpful. And then I met a wonderful lady who really prayed for me on a very deep level. And it is actually amazing. We can have hope for the past, even though the past is over and gone, because of some of the things that Jesus promises us in his word. There's a perfectly lovely little phrase that I've not just discovered, because it comes in the Passion Translation of Psalm 139, verse 4, I think it is. And it says, in his kindness, he goes into my past and saves me from the hurt of the past. Isn't it incredible? He can bring healing to what happened to me when I was a terrified 8-year-old, even all the years later. But I believe he can, because he's out of time. That's a wonderful encouragement to me. And there's another wonderful encouragement to me too, which comes in Isaiah 61. It's the one that Jesus quoted when he stood up and preached his first sermon. He said he came to bring healing for the brokenhearted. He came to bring beauty from ashes, to take the ashes of our hopes and our dreams and everything we ever wanted to be and knew we could be, if only we didn't have all these scars holding us back. So that became an awfully important part for me, to give him the ashes, and in exchange, he will give us his beauty. And one of the most important verses ever for me, it just comes in, let me find it. It's a gorgeous one. It's Isaiah 53 and verse 4. And it talks about, surely he has borne our griefs and carried our sorrows. So those 3 little verses mean everything to me, because he didn't just die for our sins. He died for the pain that other people have caused us, the results of that pain. And just helping someone to go through those different stages is the essence and the crux of what inner healing really is. And I can tell you for sure, when we do that, there's hope for all the mess that other people made of our lives as children. God bless you. Hope to see you at Beauty from Ashes, perhaps. Bye-bye.